didn't just get done today.
That wasn't like that last night. It wasn't.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was like old time. It was old paper.
I know.
That's wild.
It is.
Yeah, it's all that.
There we go.
Five here.
Oh, shady. It's starting.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So today we're here to provide an update about the incident that happened down here in the flats with the individuals being shot. So yesterday evening, around 6:20 p.m., the Division of Police was notified of shots fired in the area of 1051 West 10th. Reports of individuals being shot came shortly after. Preliminary information we can share at this time is that there was an issue with overcrowding at the play bar inside and out. The fire marshal was notified and responded with other members of the Division of Fire. Upon their arrival, they pushed the crowd outside when shortly after an altercation took place. A short time after, gunshots rang out and the crowd began running. Within a minute of being dispatched, Division of Police personnel assigned to the Brown Special Event Detail responded to the area. Most of them had been dealing with large crowds in the warehouse district area. Fire and police rendered aid to 5 individuals on scene. The victims were then transported to area hospitals by EMS. A 6th victim was transported by private auto to an area hospital. Crime scene detectives processed the scene and discovered approximately 40 shell casings from 4 different caliber weapons in the immediate area that was surrounding 1051 West 10th. Detectives responded to the area to review available surveillance video, at which time they determined that one of the victims had been in possession of a firearm and was observed firing that firearm. The victims were identified as a 21-year-old female who sustained a gunshot wound to the foot, a 45-year-old male with a gunshot wound to the knee, a 22-year-old male with a gunshot wound to the thigh, an 18-year-old female with a gunshot wound to the abdomen, a 16-year-old male with a gunshot wound to the front teeth, and a 21-year-old male with multiple gunshot wounds including the abdomen, hand, hip, and thigh, who is also currently under arrest for his involvement with the shooting. Additionally, there were several vehicles that were struck by gunfire, some of which were occupied at the time. We are thankful that there were not more victims as a result of this shooting, especially with the occupied vehicles that were struck. Detectives are still following up on leads provided by callers, surveillance videos, and witnesses in the area. This is still an active investigation. We are asking anyone who has any additional information about the shooting or suspects involved to contact our 3rd District Detective Bureau at 216-623-5318. So at this time, if you have additional questions we can answer, we'll take those questions.
Do you expect to make more arrests?
Absolutely. So we have additional leads we're currently following up on and potentially another suspect at this time.
What charges will the person who was arrested be facing?
At this time, they haven't been charged, so we'll get that information. But of course, it's going to be probably connected with the felonious assault shooting.
Chief, can you pinpoint where exactly this started, the shooting that is? We've seen surveillance footage that shows it may have been right here between this business and the business that was boarded up.
So at this time, it's still an active investigation, but we do have 4 locations that are surrounding this immediate area that were, there was shell casings that were discovered.
Can you confirm how many shooters? Because we've also heard that there were multiple.
At this time, we don't know for sure, but given the fact that there are 4 different caliber weapons, we're assuming that there's 4 shooters involved.
How concerning is this to you?
It's very concerning. There was probably 100,000 people downtown yesterday for the Browns game. You know, thank goodness it didn't end more tragically than it already has. We still have 5 individuals who are in the hospital and 1 suspect who's being treated. So it's very concerning for, you know, the city, for the division, for the mayor, that this happened.
Do you think that the response to board up that business was appropriate? Because they're saying they're not at fault for this situation that unfolded.
I will let the law director speak a little bit more on the board up. If you want to.
Where do you believe the actual shootings occurred? Is it all between West 11th and the bridge? Is it on the other side of the bridge?
So if you look at the center of it, where it occurred is 1051 West 10. And from what we captured so far, it's the area surrounding all of that. From the surveillance video, what we see, if you look at the crowds were all on that corner there. The rest of down, you know, the flats area had moderate to low pedestrian traffic. The high concentration of pedestrians was in that particular area.
What led to the actual shooting? Other than, I know you said the bar was crowded and then there was a shooting.
We're still trying to determine that at this time.
Do you know if the people involved in the shooting were inside the bar before it happened?
That's still part of the active investigation.
Chief, the owner of Play Bar and Grill told me earlier today that he said none of the people involved in the shooting were in their bar. He also told me that they had nothing to do with it. What makes you think that they were involved?
Well, I'm not going to give further details about the investigation, but everything will come out, and as that comes forward, we'll provide additional information.
I mean, were the suspects in the bar beforehand, or were they just kind of
I
in the
will
street?
get that information to you as we have more information.
Do you have an update on how the victims are doing? What's the latest on their conditions?
So we know that 2 of the victims were in more serious condition, so they are all currently remain hospitalized. Thank you.
Can you get on mic?
Yep, sure. I was going to step over and let the law department speak further, so just give me 1 second.
Yeah, sure. And can you repeat your question?
First, just identify yourself.
Yeah,
for us.
I'm Mark Griffin. I'm law director for the city of Cleveland. I think your question was it appropriate?
Yeah.
So safety comes first. We as a city are going to be assertive and aggressive in protecting the safety of all of our citizens. So yes, I do think it was appropriate. This is a emergency order for a closure, and the bar will have an opportunity to appeal that, and they will get their due process.
Okay, and so is there a history there that's led to this
Yeah.
decision as the train comes by? Is that the reason why? Because simply being over capacity can't be a reason to board up a business.
Well, there has been a history of prior incidents, including a prior shooting. Okay, sorry.
Should be okay.
Okay, so yes, there has been a prior history, but more importantly, when 6 people get shot, we're going to do everything we can to protect public safety. So yes, I think it was appropriate, and it is, I think, appropriately calibrated to really the seriousness of the danger.
Are they facing any citations for being over capacity during this event? Like, what else is a penalty?
So they are facing other citations, but I'm not going to disclose today what those will be, but you're going to see them fairly soon.
They
Did the
shared
management
security
there
footage.
request to be shut down because of overcrowding?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Did the management of that bar request to be shut down because of overcrowding?
No, they did not. They requested assistance, but they didn't request to be shut down.
How long will it be shut down for? I know you said that they can appeal that, but how long is that process?
It depends. It depends what the investigation reveals, and it'll be decided when all the information is in.
Is it possible that maybe it be shut down for good, or is there a chance of them reopening?
I don't want to speculate, so I'll just leave it at that.
Well, the other side says that this was racially motivated. How would you respond to that?
Wayne Drummond, Director of Public Safety. Race has nothing to do with this. It's all about safety. Our response from the Law Department, Division of Police, is all about safety, and that's why we acted the way we did.
Can you talk to me about response time? The security said that it took about 8 minutes. I know a lot of PD were already assigned to the special event.
So within the officers arrived within a minute of receiving the radio broadcast, and I think there was about 3 minutes before it was broadcast. So between the time of the call for service to them getting here was 3 to 4 minutes.
What about the call for crowd control? Was that before the shots fired call?
So I know that fire personnel responded down and were on scene when the shooting actually occurred. So they were already down here for that.
Some people we talked to today have criticized what they see as a lack of police presence in the flats, especially 4 o'clock-ish following.
So I can tell you that the officers were dealing with the out of the Browns game. They were directing traffic, the large crowds, and we also had some issues in the warehouse district where they were up there dealing with large crowds in the warehouse district. So a lot of our resources were spread out throughout the city, but we had a high concentration of officers in the warehouse district at that time for another incident that had just occurred.
Did you have enough officers on duty in this area at that time?
Each event we reevaluate our staffing. You know, it's hard to say. Yesterday the weather was beautiful, you know, but when you bring large crowds and alcohol driven, you know, we have to really be careful with our staffing and make sure that we have the appropriate amount of officers. So again, we will continue to reevaluate. We've staffed this as we have in the past, and you know, sometimes we have absolutely no issues, but I can tell you that the feedback I had from the officers that the crowds that weren't going to the game were extremely large and more than they've ever seen before.
What's in mind for you plan to staff up next month?
Absolutely, we reevaluate this after every single event.
Warehouse district, what kind of incident was that?
There were a lot of people that were that were not of age to go inside the bars, that were hanging out outside. We had hundreds outside of each establishment. We had a felonious assault that occurred up there where a female was beaten up in that area, and they made several arrests. And the officers were issuing multiple citations for open container. Open container. There's a lot of open drinking that was going on that they were trying to address. The biggest thing we worry about is anything that causes the potential for public safety. We know that the high concentration of what happened was around this establishment. So the decision was made to close down the bar to reevaluate public safety.
Based on what you've seen, do you believe shots were being fired from vehicles or from people who were outside of vehicles?
I don't have any information that any of the shooters were inside of a vehicle. I can say that. I believe that they were all on foot.
What about the people that were injured? Were they all on foot as well?
Yes.
So none of them were in vehicles?
No.
Do you have any idea of the 6 who were shot, minus the one who's a suspect, how many of those people may have been innocent bystanders?
At this time, I don't have that information. Until we continue with our reviews, then I should have more additional information for you.
Chief, can you talk about the plan moving forward, please? This is the first Browns game of the year. I mean, obviously there's going to be lots and lots of people frequenting this area, other areas across the city. They're probably worried that this could happen at any time. What's the plan?
I can tell you public safety is always our priority. We want people to come down and enjoy these games and not have to worry about these type of incidents. And, you know, if it takes a closure of a bar or something else that helps establish that, then the city's going to do what it needs to do. But our ultimate goal is public safety, and, you know, reevaluating our plans, making sure that we have our staff appropriately in each location. You know, if you look at it, a lot of our the visitors were up outside of the flats, you know, and that's where the officers were concentrated the heaviest. But we reevaluate, we move, and this is going to be another reevaluation.
Chief,
Go ahead.
I saw a drone take off here earlier today at about 12:45. Obviously, you got cars walking through here, reporters, bar employees. Crime scene tape's gone. The shell casings are gone. What evidence did you hope to find using a drone?
So I can tell you that it got dark quick. So we always come back the next day to reevaluate to see if there's something you missed. Is there a firearm that was dropped? Is there something that is at risk for the public to be locating? So we had the officers out here, again, canvassing the area for any firearms that might have been dropped.
I mean, if you were worried that there were guns here, why did you take the crime scene tape down?
Well, we don't know. It's just looking at it again. It's just taking another set of eyes to look at it. The officers canvassed the area. They were out here till after midnight last night. looking and seeing everything, but we always take another look. It's just, you don't know if you missed something, so it's just doing our due diligence.
Behind me, there's a shattered window. Came out here, there was a part of a shell casing sitting on this manhole. What did this scene look like at 6:15, 6:20 yesterday afternoon?
It was chaotic. The whole scene was a mess. There was people, that were shaken up, and there was trying to process what had just happened. People are just trying to, go home, enjoy the beautiful weather after the Browns game. So it's a lot of confusion, and there was a lot of chaos.
One more question, Nancy. One more question.
How did you make the decision what was best was to shut down the bar so quickly?
Yeah. So the answer is it was decided based upon the need for safety and protecting the public.
Mark, tell us about this emergency order for closure. What is this? Is this a mandate from the mayor's office? Is this a court document? Does a judge sign off on this?
Yeah, last one. So as an emergency order, it can be issued by any officer of the city of Cleveland. And so we did that collectively to protect the safety. And again, there will be an opportunity for them to ask for a review.
Why should people
Thanks,
feel
Ed.
safe
Any
coming
other
to the
questions, guys? Just send them to the police PIO email.
Just one
Thanks.
more.
No,
Why should
we-
people feel safe coming to the flats?
Two more already in.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Sorry, I didn't turn this on. Tyler. Yeah, Tyler. Is there any, I know I heard about that. I need to make
Sorry.
We can talk about that now. No. Yeah, I figured it's like. Did you start? Yeah, I saw Mark's email. I didn't even. I was in. That's close. Yeah, and he's like, good in.
Right. Okay. Well, a lot of information came out of that. So.